Mac and Levi start their IVF journey. Irene makes a bold decision to leave the Bay. Cohen meets his potential father. And is there any going back for Bree and Remi?
Hold me in your arms, don't let me go. I want to stay forever, closer each day, home and away.
Oh, hey, look, if you've come to try and talk me out of it again, save your breath.
We don't want to ambush you, Irene, but we're just a bit worried about this hasty decision you're making.
Can't you see why I would be concerned? Of course I can. If I was in your shoes, I'd think I'd lost my marbles too.
But
Things could go downhill for me, Alf, at any moment.
And this is why this trip is a bad idea.
Look, I know that travelling isn't going to be straightforward. I know that there's issues to sort through and safeguards to put in place, but I need to do this. I want to travel the world while I still can. I want to see old friends while I still remember them. And I want you guys to remember me as I am now, not as the poor, sad old duck that I'm going to become.
Irene, the way we think about you is never going to change.
no flippin' way, Dal.
It will, when I'm falling apart before your eyes. Please, guys, don't fight me on this. You're two of the most important people in my life. I don't want to leave the Bay on bad terms. I want to leave knowing that I've got your love and your support, please.
We are Si and Sophie. This is Coastal News, a home and away podcast, your weekly episode companion podcast for your favourite Aussie soap.
Right, what can you achieve in 36 hours, Tamsin?
Not a great deal.
Not seven mature follicles, no?
No. What is the follicle?
I don't know. You're asking the wrong guy. You're asking the wrong guy. I was hoping you'd tell me.
I think I just think of hair follicles, but I think there's something to do with like egg production. I don't know. I'm pretending I know. I don't know.
It's the one occasion when mature sounds good, so we're just going to clap. Well, hi, Tam. Keen listeners will know it's not Sophie. In this episode, the part of Sophie is being played by Tamsin from Pop Goes the Tam Tam.
Yes.
Welcome. Listen, we don't know what's happened. Sophie tried to get here. She said she had to go to the tip first, and then we heard about some sort of explosion on the Yabby Creek Road. We hope she's okay. You'll have to tune into the trailer to find out.
Yeah, she's currently upside down in her vehicle. She's waiting for rescue from Cash, topless.
Yes, topless
Not
Cash.
Sophie topless, but Cash topless.
I mean, it won't take a long if Cash turns up topless. She doesn't know whether she wants Cash topless or Alf in his SES boiler suit cutting her out of the car. Who knows? Who knows? But find out next week if she made it to the tip. So until then, you're gonna dissect the week with me, aren't you? You've very kindly agreed to come along and chat home and away with me. Thank you so much.
Yes, I'm very excited, very nervous to step into Sophie's amazing shoes, but I'll try. If
I'm sure you'll be just fine.
Hits the floor this episode, we know why.
I am sure not. You know you're home and away. You know you're home and away, right? Probably more than me. Before we get into it, how's it been this week for you, home and away? Just an overview. What's it been like for you this week?
It's not been great. It's been a bit back and forth. I feel like we're having a lot of circular arguments and storylines. Like we're not reaching conclusions on a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
No, you're right. And I wonder, I feel the same. And although there are some threads I'm enjoying more and I don't mind, we are in that weird period, that autumn period, where it does feel like things are sort of being extended unnecessarily because we're probably then, and then everything will happen, and everyone will be like, "Whoa, where did that season finale come from?" You know, it happens every year, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
You're
I
right.
think
There's a lot of things not moving along.
I think it doesn't help either, the storylines that we're kind of stuck in.
Do
Because
tell.
although I really enjoy, I am like, it's hard to watch Irene, but it is also enjoyable. But
Yeah.
I have to say, the Remi Cash stuff, and also I was initially interested in the stuff involving the two sisters and what happened to their mum, but we don't seem to be making any progress going forward with it.
Yeah, that is the slowest of them all, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is nuts. And also, we're a week on from PI Gate, and I'm like, oh, I was really looking forward to seeing like this PI try and uncover something, and that got quashed. We'll come on to it, obviously.
Yeah.
But I was a bit like stunted when things were kicking off. Well, do you know what I mean? Because I'm itching to find out what's really gone on
Yeah.
with the Jolene and Mother Bear there in the car. So yeah, you're right. I've enjoyed the week because, like you say, the Irene stuff's been quite heavy. But you're right. If you reflect on it, what more do we know than last Friday? Not a lot, really. You know.
No.
So we'll talk about it. But before we do, just remind listeners, we have a sister podcast. Coastal News Investigates. It's the one where we interview cast, crew, and more. And this week we released a more episode where brand new viewer, which was quite an insight to some brand new eyes on the show, Tamika, also, aka my sister-in-law. Who's just recently been pressured into watching the show, and now he's a daily viewer. And she agreed to come on and chat. It was a great episode. She was telling us what her first impressions of the show were, having only watched it a few weeks. Go and listen to that, plus more. Link to our sister podcast is in the show notes of this and every episode. We had some news this week as well, and it's quite apt, really, that you're here, because
Okay. Yes.
people on our social media will know we've announced a podcast event this week. I'm going to spring it on you and just throw it to you. What's happening, Tamsin?
So we're doing a crossover event like no other, the crossover of the century. We're going to have Coastal News and Pop Goes the Tam Tam talking about Irene as she leaves the bay.
Yes, in-depth character dive, isn't it? And it's going to be available on both our podcasts.
Yeah.
Simulcast crossover. It's going to be great, isn't it?
Yes.
Forget all these soap crossovers you're hearing about. Forget Hollyoaks and Brookie. Although we are obviously watching that. Forget the Emmerdale Corrie one. It's all about this. So yeah, we're doing our own. It's going to be great. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And ears, I suppose. Because it is a podcast.
A dry ear or eye in the house.
I am sure, because it is that week. I've actually booked time off work, you know.
Oh no!
Yeah, inadvertently, I was looking at that week, and then I was like, "Oh no, it's that week. I'm definitely booking it then." So yeah. Who knows what state I'll be in?
It's going to be fun.
Right, should we talk about this week's Home and Away?
I'll try and remember what I can remember.
I'll remind you, because luckily my memory sounds as good as yours, and I have to write it down. So, top of the week, Levi's keen to get the results back from this IVF thingy, my Bobby. Now, look, this podcast, we don't sort of beat around the bush. We don't do kids. We don't know about reproduction. So, please forgive us, listener, as we muddle our way through this. He wants to prepare for any eventuality re the IVF. They do get the call, though, and it turns out they've got these 7 mature follicles, whatever that may be, and they're on track for egg retrieval. Trigger injections happening that very night, Tamsin, and it's 36 hours till harvest time. Yeah. And she's all hot and cold after this injection, isn't she? And she's all, a bit moody. Levi's on edge about it. She's starting to feel smothered and pushing him away. And there's this whole sort of episode or two of this post-trigger injection football player what it used to be. And of her feeling dreadful, Levi feeling like he wants to be there for her and smothering her, and then he bumps into Tane, who just tells him to suck it up, Buttercup, and be there for her, and then everything seems okay.
Yeah.
Is that right? What's your thoughts? Because you were telling me we talk a lot, obviously, on our Instagram channel during the watch along on there nightly, and you were saying, is it not really that normal? Is it to be feeling this?
No, so the previous week when she was having those symptoms like the nausea and things like that, I know from friends who've had IVF, and I actually looked this up as well, that those are quite extreme reactions to the process. So the sort of the reaction she had then was quite extreme, but the reaction she's got now is, I think, normal, because obviously they've had to stimulate all of her hormones to release these, basically kind of like release these eggs, producing, like, I don't know how to pronounce
Harvest
anyway.
time.
Yeah. And so just before you have a period, you go through all these like rocky emotions. Like the other day, I can't remember what it was. It was an advert for like shoes or something, and I just started crying, and I don't know why. And it's that sort of thing. But obviously with Mac, it's dialed up to 100. So I think it's leveled out and it's a bit more normal now, what she's experiencing.
Okay.
But I think that he went into doctor mode, didn't he?
Yeah, as he does. He tends to do that, doesn't he?
And I've got to be honest, when I'm in that sort of stage that she's in, I don't even want to be touched, let alone spoken to. So I completely understand how she was feeling. So I think that was fairly realistic. But I'm going to say something now. Are we 100% sure that it's not him?
I don't know. That they seem to test them both, didn't they? It'll be fascinating if it has to be revisited, and it is him.
Because
it wasn't explained as mum's genes or something.
Yeah, it was. But he's been ever so. I don't think he ever showed her his results. We never saw that.
Oh, you think he's telling porkies?
I just wonder. Yeah.
Oh.
Because
now then, and he's making her go through all this.
And this is not going to end up a thing, is it? Is it, or is it? Are we going to end up with two babies on the show?
No, you've got me blooming. Well, you wouldn't think so, would you? But now you've got my mind racing. No, you're right. We've had a baby. It's unusual. I mean, everyone's talking babies, aren't they?
Yeah.
It just seems a bit weird for us to have
that.
I mean,
it has happened, obviously going all the way into the past. We had VJ and Lily around at the same time. We had VJ with other babies as well. Like, as a child, there were other babies around. But it tends to be the other baby leaves. So in this case, with Archie and Harper and Tane, would it be the case that Mac, Levi, and this potential new baby, they're the ones that go?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. Oh no. Oh. Yeah. Maybe.
It just feels so like, where are we even going with this? I don't feel like I know where we're actually going with this, because either it doesn't work and then they have to struggle with infertility. So what are the next stages?
Yeah.
Or it does work and they end up pregnant and we kind of have another baby on set and it's difficult. I mean, it's doable. They've done it in Neighbours. It is doable.
Yeah.
But it's difficult.
Yeah. I don't know. My gut tells me, and it'll take a lot to persuade me, Tamsin, that Mac is like the most tragic of tragic soap characters ever.
Yeah.
Like, it is so sad. Everything that she's gone through, and she just seems to be going through one after another. I feel like this is not happening for her just on that alone.
Yeah.
Like, I think, forget anything else.
I think you're right. I don't think it will happen for them. But then I guess the next stages are, will they cope with that, or is this sowed some seeds of them eventually breaking up?
Yeah. Is it more relationship drama then? Yeah. Which is, I don't know. It'd be a bit refreshing if it wasn't that, wouldn't it? Let's face it.
Yeah. Although I would say we've seen less Mac since she's been with Levi. She's kind of his girlfriend, as opposed to,
That's
like,
true.
we even see her less in Salt.
Yeah, she just swans in and out, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, is her pairing with him now a detriment to her as a character? Because
Yeah.
she was one of the favourites, like,
Mm.
you know, power suit businesswoman.
Yeah.
Although she runs it, you could argue she's not very good at that. Yeah, okay, one to watch then. You're right. We're at a sort of fork in the road, aren't we? Right,
Yeah.
and depending on the decision of the show and the writers, and whether it's sort of a yay or a nay at this point, if this IVF works, will determine on what kind of story we end up with. I think you're right. I'm just
Mm.
a bit like, I don't know. This was like I think I called it a Z story the other week. I was like, it just seems to pop up on a Friday afternoon, like,
Yeah.
but like this week, it seems to have come a bit more to the forefront.
Yes.
So I feel like we're gonna see a lot more of these in the coming weeks.
Yes, I think so. I agree with you.
And I don't mind I think it's a really interesting story. Depends how we do it, and if we do it in an interesting way, though, might
Yeah.
have to put a pin in my opinion,
Yeah.
because I'm partial for it changing.
I mean, I'm just suspicious. I'm just suspicious because
Mm,
I'm like, she desperately wants a baby,
yeah,
and that's her dream, not his. He wants a baby
yeah,
with her, but if they don't have one, they don't have one. But I think for
yeah.
her now, it's become all encompassing, and I wonder if when he knew, maybe like this, I'm making all this up, but maybe if he knew he couldn't, then he's like, oh my God, I'm gonna lose her, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. Oh, you're right. And then now it's niggling me because with Imogen, it was like no kids. That was kind of like quite a solid thing, wasn't it? Until he got with her. She
Yeah.
sort of blindsided him after the Diggy thing. Oh, you're going to make me think about this a lot. I'm going to have to chew on it. I'm going to have to chew on it. I think, oh gosh. Oh God. This wouldn't have happened with Sophie, no.
Sorry, I just had to cough then.
Right, Cash learns that Cohen's daddy is on the scene this week, and Alf comes down to YCPD and asks for the lowdown, doesn't he? And he's
Yeah.
all, don't give me all this protocol garbage. Tell it me straight. I'm a straight shooter, is Mr. Stewart. So he tells him what's going to happen. Doesn't sound happy about it being back in the hands of the paper pushers, does Mr. Stewart, does he?
No.
And meanwhile, out in the bay, Cohen's dad is running into him after he's been for his little DNA test at the hospital. And he's doing this. There was this weird confrontation, wasn't it? And actually,
Yeah.
I think I held my breath throughout it. To be honest, I was thinking, oh shit, what's going to happen here? And he's all like, I think I'm your dad. And Rue's like, you can scare him. You can't talk to him like that. Beckons Cash over. I'm thinking, dear God, this just sends Cohen into a panic because he's clueless. You have to remember, up until this point, Rue has been lying to him, going for his
Yeah.
tonsil check. You know, like, and actually it's a DNA test. So annoying when Rue's doing something good and she's learning from her previous mistakes, let's call them, with
Yeah.
Eliza, and you start to get on her side. She then starts keeping the truth from this poor lad, and you're thinking, have you learnt nothing, girl? You know, this is going to blow up in your face. She's forced to then tell him, isn't she, at home, when in a really emotive confrontation way, rather than a nice conversation about your family. Rue
Yeah.
is panicking at the thought of her adoption not going through at this point, isn't she?
Yeah, so I just want to break down what's going on with Rue, because I think you've touched on this a lot, but it feels like Rue at different points, I've got the feeling that none of this is actually about Cohen. Like, it wasn't really
Mm-hmm.
about Eliza, that it's actually
Yeah.
about Rue, and it's actually about Martha Jr., let's be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I just think that as a foster carer, like, so I've worked a little bit in children's social care in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, the role she's actually meant to be doing, meant to be facilitating, means that, you know, if his family were to this is the end goal. really. You want to reunite with family where you can, basically. And this, rather than this being the negative that Rue has sort of spun on this, it could be a positive. It's uniting Cohen with his father. We know some of the situation around his parents, but not everything. She's gone in there with a completely closed mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That being with her is the best thing for Cohen.
Yeah. Yeah, no, she has, and I completely agree. And she's, like you say, you can only question her motives for doing this, right? And then your mind starts to run wild, especially us who have been here long enough to remember Rue's past. You know,
Yeah.
There'll be people under the age of 25 watching this, thinking, "What's the problem?" You know, but we all know. I just wish it was more explicit in the script.
Yes,
You
so do
know,
I. That's the missing puzzle piece to this. Because, like you say, there's going to be a whole lot of the audience that are watching it now that have no idea about all that stuff, that might not even know that Rue ever had a child or the circumstances around that. Okay? So I just think, I know that there's going to be a lot of confusion with how many Marthas there are. Okay, there's too many Marthas, right? But at the same time, it needs to be said, because at the heart of that, that's what this is really about, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, you're right. And how fascinating would that be for for us to watch that, you know, and and Rue to go through that and talk about it, because she never mentions it, never talks about it. God, that's going to be so rewarding for us lot, you
Yeah.
know, to
Well,
finally hear her admit that, you know,
I
this is
mean,
affecting her.
Home and Away have been remembering a lot of things recently with Irene, and it just does make you wonder if at the back of this somewhere, there's the chance that the door might creak open slightly for Martha Jr.
Yeah, yeah. I've been thinking similar thoughts, you know. Whether the sort of the end game is to get there, you know, with this
Yeah.
fostering stuff, whether we need to get through this and we need to stop being impatient as a fan base and trust the process. I don't know. I'm what a payoff though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would be a good payoff,
Oh,
wouldn't
it'd
it?
be amazing. Yeah, it
Mm,
really would.
mm,
But I guess going back to Cohen, I think you when you talk about Cohen, you have to keep Eliza in the conversation, because Rue did everything wrong with Eliza, and Eliza was a nightmare. And Cohen's come in and he's the polar opposite. And like you say, Rue has learned so much from the mistakes she made that
yeah.
she's making a whole lot more mistakes now. These are just different mistakes that she's making. But yeah, I mean, I was ready to give her a lot of growth, but the way she's acted around this, I mean, I understand she's very protective, and you have to be. And Cohen's dad should not have tried to approach them. But you got the sense that after he'd done it, he kind of wished he hadn't done it, and that's basically what he told Cash.
Yeah.
But I think the way that Rue is responding to this is not great.
Yeah.
But adding into that conversation, you know, I thought it was interesting that the only one who thought about Alf and how he might be feeling was Marilyn. Because
Yeah.
she came in and was like, "And how are you doing?"
She was the only one that asked him, yeah. And he said something, didn't he, like, "Oh, I've grown fond of the fella," or something, didn't
Yeah.
he? Yeah, you're right. Actually, Josh, you know what? I completely overlooked that scene. At the time, I thought we'll make a mental note of that because Marilyn has just asked Alf. But yeah, you're right. This is again, though. This is selfish Rue, isn't it? This is main
Yeah.
character Rue.
Yes. And the thing is, right, Marilyn has experience of a foster child, right? She has experience of this. She did it with Jet, right? And Jet is still in contact with Marilyn. You know, they are very close still, even though we don't see him. But Rue she sort of disregards anything that isn't her, but especially anything that's to do with Marilyn.
Oh yeah. Don't the whole Rue and Marilyn thing. There's something weird about that, isn't there? That just
Yeah.
never seems to go away.
No, I honestly, my one hope is that now we're losing Irene, we get more Marilyn.
Yeah.
Because it feels like she's a guestie.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, she does. She seems to, even in Irene's storyline, she's sidelined. And the
Yeah.
history of Maz and Irene, there's
Yeah.
loads there.
Yeah.
It's mad, isn't it? It is
Yeah.
mad.
Yeah. Well, there's not even been much Irene Elf stuff, really, either.
No, Sophie picked up on this. She was like, I don't even think they've had a scene.
No.
There was a scene this week because Alf goes to her house this week.
Yeah.
And we'll come on to it when we talk about Irene a bit in a mo. But yeah, Alf has been talking about Irene and her illness, but we've not seen him sit down as old friends and be like, right, talk to me,
Yeah.
and what a great scene that would be. And I was thinking, is it the whole when Sally left thing we were talking about last week? Is it sort of he doesn't want to? But again, if it was that would be spelled out to us. There's no sort of big theories, hidden agendas in this script. Like it would be spelled out to us if it was that. Is it an oversight? Yes, I think it is.
I think it is. I think it's that they have disregarded how important or how long-standing their friendship is.
Yeah.
And, don't get me wrong, Leah and John and Irene are iconic friendships. But like you say, we're losing out on some Mad stuff, we're losing out on some Alf stuff. And actually, this is, Alf can kind of understand this because he's really old, and he can not understand everything that Irene's feeling, but he is sadly coming to the end of things, and there are conversations that only an older person can have with another older person.
You're right, yeah. And that sort of facing the inevitable, there's very few people, as you say, that are going to be able to empathize with that on a level that she probably needs it. We'll talk about Irene then. So, because this week she's having this sort of death clean, isn't she? This sort of clean out of the house. Oh god, that bloody red bus from Will.
Oh, I know. I thought immediately of you.
Oh, my favorite episodes. But this sends John into a bit of a frenzy, doesn't it? And she even gives Leah this ugly teapot. She's getting all the trinkets out. Don Fisher's bloody book to Byron. We have had a right treat, and you're talking about sort of mentioning the oldies and mentioning the old people through. This is one thread through Irene's story that's been quite good, and actually, I would say it's necessary if we're not bringing people from the past back.
Yes, yeah, I would agree with you. And actually, I think that if we brought too many people back or anyone back, it would crowd out this story, which is really important, which is the things that she actually has, the memories, that's what she's losing. The people around her will still be there. They will still remember her, although she won't remember them. But these trinkets, like you say, these are the things she's going to forget. The books, the photos. The people that love her will continue to love her even when she's forgotten them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But
Agreed.
I just think if we had too many people coming back, it would be too much of, oh, look, so-and-so's back. Oh, look, and it wouldn't be enough about her struggle,
Irene.
what's happening to her.
I completely agree. I've been thinking back to when she had the cancer diagnosis, and things looked pretty bleak back then, and they brought Gypsy back in, which in itself was a little bit random when there was a lot of other people that should have been coming back. But I remember criticising it at the time. But you just go with these things. You learn too, don't you, over the years?
Yeah.
Gypsy comes back, but we're all talking about Gypsy.
Yeah.
We're all talking about how great she looks, and she came back in and she had that whole thing with Liam.
Yeah.
And and that whole attitude that she had, and we all remember, we all got sort of rekindled with Gypsy, which is great and one of my favorite characters ever. And then actually, when someone mentions Irene's cancer to me, I never remember Irene's cancer story. I always remember Gypsy.
Yeah. So Irene became a subplot in her own plot, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. The first thing someone mentions Irene's cancer, I go, "Oh, how quick was that? Oh my god!" And Gypsy was back. Like, oh my god, what a great story, and the whole Bianca thing, her and Bianca. But I don't remember much about Irene's sickness then, other than it was really fast. So
Yeah.
you're right. What you're saying is spot on. If there'd have been these huge characters back, as nice as it would have been, that would have overshadowed this major. So I'm actually really liking the choice here. I'm liking Irene. The flashbacks, I'm loving it. And I'm
Yeah.
nostalgic about it. And I think that was the right thing to do.
I agree. Yeah, I completely agree.
Mm. And so Irene's panicking. She's going through all the stuff. She's having a sort out. She needs to get this in order. John's up in arms about it, and she's imploring him. Isn't she's like, "I'm trying to face my future here,
Yeah.
and I need you all to get on board and support me." And John's, he's struggling, isn't it? I mean, it's gone fast, and you can understand that struggle. And he's saying things to her that are really setting me off. I will say, I don't want to lose you 1 second before I have to.
No.
Lines like that are just,
I mean, for me, as a Irene John shipper, this is a great time to be alive,
Yes.
Because I would just love to see them get together.
Mm.
And I know
Right at the final hour.
Yeah, not everybody's a fan of that. But they've just got such great chemistry. And honestly, it's love. I don't care.
No, I get it. And who's there at the very end when she needs companion the most? It's John, isn't it? Let's face it. Let's face it.
I don't think so. Going back to what you were saying about her going through this sort of, I need to declutter, I need to get rid of this stuff, I still remember what it is. For me, like, the next stage is going to be she's going to buy a coffin. Okay.
Oh yeah, she's one of these pre-planners.
Sitting in it, right, in her living room, and being like, because I think
like Morticia Adams.
Exactly. But I think the problem with Irene is she's still not coping with the diagnosis.
Yeah.
Because she's looking at it like, well, once I get rid of all of this, I've signed over the diner, and then what? I buy the coffin, I sit in it, and then they close the lid. That's kind of what it feels like.
Yeah. She is not, by quote unquote coping. She isn't coping.
No,
like she
isn't.
Is coping by not coping, isn't she?
Yeah.
I feel like she's done the bury your head in the sand thing. She's done the whole, I'm not going to be a burden. I feel sane at the moment. I'm going to sort my shit out. I'm just going to busy myself by sorting my life out. And then there's this huge bombshell this week. I mean, blooming Sonny. I mean, he's obviously been round and chatting to her.
Yeah.
And he's got it in her head that, I mean, and I get what he was saying. He was trying to be supportive, wasn't he? She's looking at all these postcards from around the world, and she's saying, I'll never see these people again. All these people that have come through here, that I've helped and nurtured and that mean a lot to me. And he's saying, don't let this illness dictate you. You can choose. And then she's taken that as Sonny says, yeah, go and see the world, Irene.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I actually agree with what Sonny has actually said. But I just think that she needs to breathe between these decisions, because it's just one decision after another decision and like somebody next is going to say, that toxic ex you used to be with, like, oh yeah, that was the love of my life, she's going to get back with him, whoever that is, and it's like, calm down. You're not immediately going to go completely Alzheimer's. If you wait a week, you'll still be okay, Irene.
Yeah.
Just wait a week.
Yeah. And that's why you end up on Leah's side, which I found myself on Leah's side a lot with this.
Yeah.
I'm not normally in the history of Home and Away.
No,
I don't normally agree with her. But Leah turns up with a bagel the next day and she says, I'm selling up, darling. She's like, what? Like, where are you going to live? And she's like snapping at her and biting her head off. And I'm like, that's a legitimate response from someone.
It's a proper question to ask somebody.
Yeah. I'm like, Leah's done no wrong here. Like, she's like, what are you doing, woman? Can't slow your horses, just as you've said, But I must say, she lost me a little bit this week, Irene, because then, this confrontation about selling the house and going on the road and all the rest of
Yeah.
it. Blooming Sonny doesn't half cop it from Dana, which
Yeah.
we later find out, at least, as he hands her a weed he's picked up, and they have that lovely chat on the bench, don't they, about,
Yeah.
I've sat on that bench. I say it every time. Every time
Amazing.
I've been there, I've sat on there, I've touched that fence. There's a love, and Dana does. She's able to take herself out of it, isn't she? And objectively admit that, okay,
Yeah.
I'm filling the mum-shaped hole, as she puts it. So at least Dana recognizes that her reaction was, that she was a mother figure to me, and I don't want to lose her, and it's selfish
Yeah.
to think it, but I, deep down, if it's what she wants, I've got to let her go, yada yada yada. But that doesn't. Irene's at the diner screaming at everybody, saying, "I'm going, whether you like it or not." And like,
All of this feels like a reaction. It feels like a reaction to the diagnosis. It feels like, now look, probably a lot of the listeners are going to be, oh my God, but she needs counselling. That's what she really needs. She needs to go and see a counsellor, because this is huge. Being told, hey, listen, what you thought your life was going to be like, well, that's not going to be how it is, And I think there's two ways to look at this. And I think Irene's not looking at it maybe in the way that might help her best, okay? So most of us don't know when things are going to come to an end, okay? But Irene's actually been given a sort of terminal diagnosis, but it's not going to happen, in the next maybe year and a half. She's still got time, but she also knows that if she wants to do something, if that is on her bucket list, she best tick it off. And how many of us never get that chance to do it? So like, in a way, this is kind of a gift. Not that she would feel like it, and not that it really is.
Yeah,
that's not what I'm trying to say. But she has a chance now to kind of. There's nothing she can do about it. It is coming down the tunnel towards her.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that all her agency's gone, and she can still make decisions for herself. But I would just say pause between them, Irene. Pause between them, you know? And you can't take this out on everybody else because of how you're feeling. Because legitimately, I can't imagine how terrifying this must be. But the point is, it's not anybody's fault. This is just how it's ended up. And but she can do a lot more than a lot of us, which is she can say, hey, I actually do want to do this, or I do want to do that, and I want to jump out of an air, I want to try these things, and while I can remember doing them. I would just say, as I said again, and to any listeners who are also thinking about making really, really quick decisions, just breathe, pause.
You've heard it here first. Yeah. When you're about to go in head first, listen to Tamsin's voice ringing in your ears. Breathe.
Don't do an Irene.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. And I think that is, your John, your Leah's, your Al, when Alf gets wind of it as well, that's their reaction, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because they're understanding the message as, I'm going to sell my house. I'm going to burn all my money, going around the world, living my life, living my best life. And then they're thinking, and they even do raise this concern with her directly. They're thinking, you're going to come back with no money, no house. You're going to be on death's door. What you're going to do then? That's what they're thinking. And I think it's a perfectly reasonable place for your mind to wander to, because what are you going to do?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I mean, I also see it from that perspective, but I guess you just don't know. You just don't know. But I do think she just needs to calm down a bit and take on board what has happened.
And then I guess, unless we were all facing it, none of us can really truly say what we would do.
No, but situation. I would say listen to your friends, because they care about her.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Now, that moment, I mean, I had a spontaneous cry this week that just came from nowhere. When sometimes you're fighting it off, you've got the lump in your throat. It rose and left me like within seconds, and it doesn't normally happen that fast, was when Alf is at her house and he does an Ireneism to her, and he says, "No flipping way, doll." I was like, where did that come from? Like, there wasn't even any build-up, but Irene just said, Alf just saying an Ireneism just
Yeah.
sent me west within a split second. Did you have a reaction like me?
Well, I
Stronger
thought it was
as me?
lovely. I've also thought about what you and Sophie have been saying about who's going to get these Ireneisms. And is it going to be Alf?
Gosh, he's got enough on his plate, hasn't he?
He does. But I'm going to really miss them. I am genuinely going to miss the, like, Lord Save Ireland and all that stuff. Yeah, it's going to, like, she's such an icon.
She is. And I think, yes, I mean, more to come in our special crossover episode, but she is going to be missed, I think.
Yeah, so missed.
If indeed this is it could be a Neighbours and they could be back. There's a big fanfare about the exit, and then they could end up doing more episodes than ever. I'm looking at you, Toadie.
Yeah. Well, she could come back. Like, if it was Toadie, then she'd come. Well, no, because Irene's pretty nice now, isn't she? But, like, Toadie came back and he was like, he'd reset. He was normal again, you know?
So, you never know. And there's a mysterious event in the old, where is it? WA, Perth, happening.
Oh, yes.
My first theory before the Brax announcement was that could be catching up with Irene.
Yeah.
That was my first theory.
Yeah, that would be fun, but now we know. Well, maybe, because, like, Brax might be there.
Well,
you
maybe.
know, and maybe he's the first person she goes to see. A lot of us
maybe. Maybe.
If we thought the end was coming.
I'll just pop into Daryl Braxton.
So maybe it's a secret Irene Brax road trip, you know? One last heist for old time's sake.
I'll let you know when I win the competition. I'll let you know because I'll be there.
Oh, yes. That'll be so exciting. I've not entered.
That's good. That's good news for me.
No, that'll be great though to see you there and to be like, Si sat on that bench.
Yeah, for a change. Right, Lacey's telling Joe this week that she's hired that private investigator. Mum deserves the truth, she's saying, and she's going to make sure it damn well comes out. And Joe's, again, this Joe and Lacey merry-go-round that I don't want to talk on anyone's turn or talk for anyone, but everyone's getting on the blooming nerves with this. I think we're all one off this merry-go-round, don't we? And this PI has pulled out. This infuriates Lacey, and she assumes that Joe has said something. It's something to do with it. And the blooming scene cuts when she confronts her at that shower, and she's about to say, "Did you say something to Dad about it? About, covering this up?" And it cuts, and I'm thinking, we want to know how bad Joe is. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, they're toying with us here now. Like, we're just going to keep doing this over and over again. There's another big fight. Joe says she's got nothing to do with it. But it does seem when we rejoin them an episode or two later that she's agreed to another investigation, or at least reopening the investigation, which I don't think Lacey was expecting. How true it is or not, she does accuse her of reverse psychology, but then we don't really revisit them, so I'm going to expect another fight on Monday. Are you fed up with these two? Do you care anymore? I'm at the point where I'm not really asked who killed Mum now.
No, I don't really care because I'm not connected enough with either of them. And I've got to be honest, I don't think they've done the character work on either of them to make them particularly interesting.
You're right. I think you're right.
I'm a bit more interested in Lacey than I am Jolene because I don't really like Jolene.
No, can't stop.
I can't, I don't understand where she's coming from. Like, don't get me wrong, I love a morally grey character where you can't quite pin down whether they're okay or not. Like, Felicity was a great morally grey character when she first came in, and there was all that stalking stuff, and you didn't know whether she was telling the truth or not, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Now, that was fine, And I mean, I don't know whether they're trying to do it again with Jolene a bit, where you've got, but it's not working, and I don't feel any sort of chemistry between her and Tane.
Yeah, no, same. That feels incredibly forced, doesn't it?
She just seems a lot younger than him.
Yeah, and detached.
I mean, obviously, look, Tane is incredibly attractive, and if he was working at your local beach or leisure centre, you'd be there like a rat up a drain pipe. But the thing is, that's how you would feel about Tane. Would Tane feel that way about you? Probably not, right? And when she turned his phone off, there's something icky about her.
Yeah, that moment, and she knocks it to silent, and then I think we're supposed to then, because she does come clean and it eats her up, I think we're supposed to then understand or take from that she does have that moral compass. Like there's an element, like she does feel, but I don't know, and there's the question mark over the car crash. Do I believe Lacey? Do I not believe Lacey? Do I care enough to get invested in who I believe? No. Dad seems completely apathetic to the whole situation, just splits the fight up and then nothing really happens. I'm a bit gutted we haven't learned more by this point, because then it would help me get invested. You're right, the character's not been done.
No, it's dragging on.
Yeah.
And it's dragging on in a way that, like, do any of us really care?
Yeah. They're losing us, aren't they? Definitely losing us.
I kind of felt like, not this week so much, but definitely last week, we were reaching a point where we were it was towing around the edge of the fact that maybe David is not as keen on Jolene as we think he is. And he was trying to build bridges with Lacey, but they've kind of dropped that again this week, because the stories were really around the two girls and he was off doing other things. And I think intrinsically that Jolene's quite selfish.
Yeah. No, I agree.
She is not letting Lacey sit in her feelings on this.
Yeah. I don't think she's able to allow Lacey that, because she's thinking, I've lost my mum. I don't think she has the space or capacity to understand that Lacey also feels that. They've got so much in common.
But Lacey's lost more than that, because she's lost her sister as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And a father, actually.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, and rumbling alongside this is this whole Theo and Lacey thing, which also to me doesn't sit right.
No.
And I'm keen to get your thoughts on it. Theo, Justin needs him back at the garage. Oh my God, that still exists. Because he's took on this cab firm contract.
Yeah.
But Theo feels like he needs to do these surf lessons for Lacey, and we'd all love to give a job up just to help her. Come on. Do you know what I mean? I know it's supposed to be the paradise down under.
The fact that you only get a job to, like, hang out with your friends, it's just brilliant. Or you have to get a job and stop hanging. Like, it's just, can I live there? Is it a possibility?
I know. Let's face it, if that was your work, you wouldn't grumble either, would you? You're right. You are right. You are right. But then Lacey then spends her week preoccupied in getting him fired from the board shop, so that he can go and work there, because she ends up guilted into realizing that she has neglected her relationship with Theo a bit. He has to have a big mad with her in order for her to see that she's not focusing her energies in the right place. She's focusing it on all this negative stuff, this private investigator, this Joe stuff. She's not focusing it on the happy things in life. And I'm a bit like, is she going to learn from it?
No, it doesn't feel like it. I'm going to be honest. Lacey and Theo are so underdeveloped as a couple. They're almost as bad as Marley and Abby. or Abs from 5, give her a proper name. They're just so underdeveloped. They sort of came out of this chaotic moment, and they've just hit boring really quickly.
Yeah. They're supposed to be young and passionate, you know?
Yeah. They just had a bung cut by some bins one time on a car bonnet, and since then they've just been having a go at each other, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And like she moved in and like
That's
now
it.
and since and then it's been all family drama. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah.
There's nothing fun about this. And anybody in IRL, any relationship at that age would not be this serious.
No.
It would not be this
No.
complex at this stage.
Yeah.
You know, you'd be going to the movies on a Friday night and getting as much as you could, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Yeah. And they
You're
just
right.
don't have any fun.
No, they don't. It's interesting because I wonder, because I've often said this about Home and Away. And I think this is where we had a big sort of whinge about the bed hopping comments last week. But they put couples together, and I think they do it for reaction, and then I think they quickly split them if it doesn't land well.
Yeah.
And I think that's how you end up with people on the show like Tane, for example, who's ended up in multiple relationships in his tenure.
Yeah.
I think they've tried them out, and I wonder whether there's a bit of a backtrack happening because it didn't really fit.
Yeah, I get that feeling. I mean, look, I actually don't think there's anything wrong with the multiple bed hopping, if I'm honest, because it means that you find characters that fit together better. And I mean, admittedly, not everyone would have hooked up in the same small coastal town like they have in Home and Away. But like, if we compare it to Neighbours, where there are until recently, when we've got two possible affairs happening, until recently, like, all the couples are really stagnant and quite boring, and they had been essentially how they were from when 2.5 years. You do need this, I think, and sometimes you're right. You initially put a couple together and they work on one level, and then the magic just disappears.
Yeah.
The chemistry just goes.
Yeah, and you've got two options then. You can either plow on and be boring, or you can split them up and do something else with them. Do you know what I mean?
And the thing is, if you plow on and be boring, then you end up with a sort of Bree and Remi situation. Where it's just a never-ending circle of the same stuff. They can't get out of that cycle. Now, listen, we all know couples that are like that, and maybe some of us have even been in relationships like that, where you constantly cycling through breakup, get back together, breakup, get back together, etc., etc., and everybody else is looking at you just going like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah,
but it's you don't need that many characters that are like that many relationships that are like that. And it just feels like there are a lot of kind of stable-ish relationships. Like, you've got Cash and Remi and Mac and Levi to some extent. You've got Abs from 5 and her ballroom dancing champion boyfriend, Marley. I had to slip that in. And they're all kind of stable. So, yeah, let's throw a bit of chaos.
Yeah, definitely. And it's funny you mention Bree and Remi, because that hot mess, that cheating scandal that's happened lately, we feel like is because we're trying to get someone out the show, because otherwise what was the point? Because like you say, they were so stable, so stagnant that we never even had scenes together. Do you know what I mean?
No.
And now we've ended up sort of I mean, did you ever think this gig thing was going to work? I mean, the writing was on the wall from the second it was suggested. What on earth was Bree thinking about? And it's arrived this week, hasn't it? And Remi's being all weird and dismissive because he thinks like, Bree, what if the opposite happens? And we're all like, yeah, it's likely to, Remi. Like, she's going to see you happy again with the music. She's going to question whether the Kraken was able to give you something else more, because that's already been something that was a problem, and she already knew that. The problem is here, he did this thing and he has no reason for doing it. And it's eating away at her that he's not been able to explain why he did it, you know?
Yeah.
Because their relationship wasn't in tatters, there wasn't problems. He just did it, and he's not been able to give her an explanation. And of course, she's not going to be able to move on until she's had that explanation. That
No.
was quite obvious. She's kidding herself as much as anybody else is. And this week, sure enough, the gig comes around. He's up there. He's fun. They end up going back to his place and Passion, and then end up in the bedroom, and then it's too much. It's too much, and she ends up ultimately deciding what's going to happen with this relationship, basically.
Which
at the
we
end of the
all
week.
we saw the writing on the wall for this, really.
The slowest car crash ever.
Yeah. But I have to say, like, the fault is entirely on Remy's side with this. Even his reaction to she has kind of had to tiptoe and cajole him into doing things when he was the one who put them in this position in the first place. You know, she has been more than reasonable and accommodating to try and make him feel comfortable, and he has just been acting like a diva the entire time.
Yeah.
And yeah, he can't live with what he's done, but that doesn't take away the fact that he actually did it. And sometimes to learn from your mistake, you have to accept that you were the one that made it.
Yeah. Yeah,
so,
completely.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not the biggest Bree fan. I've become an anti-Remi. Anti-Remi.
Welcome.
He could, like, out of the two of them, he could go, to be honest.
Yeah, no. Do you know what he did? So I couldn't despise him at the beginning when they all rocked up.
Yeah.
And Sophie loved him. She was like, love him. I think you need to, you'll get there. And eventually I softened to him and I let him in. And he just proved me right in the end.
Yeah, he did.
And so I'm like, shame on me for falling for it and everybody else.
I'm also going to say something else. I'm going to say that I agree with you. I think someone's going to be leaving. I think we all know who that's going to be. And it's not going to be Remi, sadly. But I would be worried if I was Remi, because Sonny's basically doing the Remi job better than Remi did, apart from the music, which a lot of people would say is a bonus. Like, the actor can play a guitar and is very talented. But are we fans of Lyric? No. Does anybody love Lyric?
I think there's one on Twitter somewhere.
Oh my god, okay. Are we sure that's not the writer that came up with the idea?
Quite possibly, yeah.
But yeah, I'd be worried because he's a better Remi than Remi is.
Yeah, Sonny can do no wrong right now,
No, he's really good. Although I would say about Sonny, I think we've seen a fracture, the thing that might end him and Dana this week. Wow. Which I thought was interesting, where she said to him, I don't want jokes, I don't want to fly kites, I want to be serious. And we've not really seen this. The thing about Dana is she's always been like a lot of fun and kind of, but she has been more anchored recently and grown up quite a bit. And Sonny's not there. So I wonder, if the writers file that away at some point,
Well, no one can be happy, can they? That doesn't make good story. So
No, I mean, I love them together. them together. I think they're great.
But they're going to have some obstacles, so maybe that might be one to watch. Because you're right. She did mention about that, and then they had a row, and then he had to come groveling, didn't he? And she's obviously had a much tougher life than he has. So perhaps that could be one to watch. You're right. But I do love them both. I really do.
Yeah, same here. Yeah. I mean, look, I don't know how the voting's gone in the Coastal News Pod poll, obviously, for Character of the Year, but I bet Sonny's going to come away with Best Newcomer.
Oh, you'll find out soon, don't you worry.
I could bet my house on that and still live in the house.
Right, Tamsin, it's time for your say on the bay.
My say on the bay?
Not your say. Oh gosh, that's so strange.
I just had to do it.
You can have your say if you want, but it's all, people have been watching along this week, and they've been telling us what's what. Before we get into it, just a quick reminder to everybody, and I always butcher this because Sophie's so good at this, so I'll try my best. You can get in touch with us and tell us what you think about Home and Away. We do tweet along. We watch every weeknight at 6:30 as it goes out on 5-star. So you can tweet along with us on the Twitter, hashtag Home and Away UK. We also are on Blue Sky, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. Can't think of anywhere else we are right now. Threads,
Social
I don't
meds.
know. So all the social meds, yes. We also have an Instagram channel that we're trying to get off the ground. If you're on Instagram, come and chat with us every weeknight at 6:30. If you go on our Instagram page, you can join the channel just by clicking the little thing at the top there, and come and say hello and tell us what you think. You never know, you might be on next week's Your Say on the Bay. If you don't do any of the social means, if you're a bit more old-fashioned or you're a bit more long-winded, you can send us an email. The email address is coastalnewspod@gmail.com. How many people have been sending emails this week? I've got emails for you.
Exciting.
You ready?
So exciting. Yeah,
So,
I'm ready.
regular emailer Emma. Hello, Emma. Thanks for your email. She sent a couple in. This week. So she said, Joe, on Thursday's episode, on their official date, she rejects or silences Tane's phone, and Harper was calling, "What a bitch." Equally, this could be a good storyline as she feels uncomfortable about the Tane and Harper situation. So, yeah. It's true. We could end up with a bit of a love triangle forming, couldn't we?
Yeah.
Especially as Harper's feelings seem to run a bit deep.
Yeah, but I think that's a great point. But I think Tane would probably side with Harper. Well, Archie, let's be honest.
Yeah. Baby mama's by association, isn't she?
Yeah,
She's
she is.
tied to him forever, whether romantic or not.
He's never letting him go. That's it.
No. PSI, does the Dana fan club offer free membership to the Sunny fan club? Oh, it's a good question. With all the seriousness of Irene's Alzheimer's, these two are really, really good. Also, I think if any other couple did kite flying, it would be weird. However, these two make it look cool. Plus, now Sunny has a friendship with Irene. It's lovely to see. Do you know what? You're right. There was almost a harking to Irene and Chris, wasn't there?
Yeah, I thought that. And I loved when he came in and he kind of diffused the tension when he said about, I lent you like that tenner. And it was kind of what you needed. And I like the way he still talks to her like she's a human and not someone with a condition.
Yeah, it's quite funny as well that I think he's picked up on it so fast, Sonny, because a week ago he was just Dana's landlord. She was just Dana's landlord.
Yeah.
And now he's like the most important piece of the puzzle in a week. Just took one waltz.
I know. That's it. That's all it takes. Just, that's it.
Emma goes on to say, the salt gig, why does Eden's outfit remind me of a child dressed as a ladybird?
Oh, I loved it. I loved what she was wearing.
The little frilly
yeah,
edge.
And I love the trousers. They were like giant, like fireworks made of glitter, you know? And like Remi just turned up in a shirt that probably like Bree probably made him iron that shirt, let's be honest. That was it. That was all the effort he put into that. You know, he smelt of his bed.
Yeah, not even had a shower. No. Yeah, you're right. Also, I know Theo didn't want to be part of Lyric, but not even a conversation to see if he wanted to join them. That's a good point. Irene's off travelling, Dal. Good for her. For a second today, I thought Dana might go with her. Someone else mentioned that to me. Was it you? Somebody else?
No, that wasn't me.
Someone was sort of saying, I wonder if Dana could be tempted to offer to go on this travelling with her, you know, as sort of a chaperone.
And it would be interesting, wouldn't it? I mean, can you imagine going travelling with Dana and Sunny? Irene would have the time of her life.
I know. I mean, I wish I was her.
Yeah.
You know, I would love to do around the world with Dana and Sunny. Kite flying and all, third wheeling.
And the stuff that they'll get up to, the best thing is she'll be able to not remember that. you know?
I know.
We've all been there, you know?
Yes. There's a couple of bits from our little trip to Australia I wish I could remember. She goes, my husband also wanted to say, isn't Sonny the nicest character so far? Supporting Irene and Dana. Oh, it's nice to hear from one of the long-suffering husbands, actually.
Hello,
Yes.
husband.
Hello, husband. Question, is he still living off Remi's credit card? Who
Good
the heck
question.
knows?
Yeah, how does he afford the kite? How does he afford his rent? Nobody knows. We know that he doesn't have money because he talked about not having money. So, yeah, so this is all from the bank of Remi.
It is. And he actually fantasized that and romanticized his way of life to Irene this week. And he said how great it is. I'm so free. I'm not tied to the job. I'm just do what I want. I wake up and I go how I feel. I'm thinking, how are you funding this? You're in Salt having fried breakfasts and God knows what.
Yes, please tell us.
Yeah. It must be Remi's credit card, and I hope he's draining him dry. Because
I hope he is.
Remi needs to lose that money.
Well, how much has Remi actually got? Because was it like 5 million?
It was millions.
That's in that economy. That's gonna have gone, isn't it, by now?
I mean, you can't really spend 5 million on a couple of studio sessions and
come
some
on,
breakfast
though.
in Salt.
But he rented that big estate for them to go and record in.
Maybe. I don't know.
And then he paid off Bree's, uni funds. That's got to be like 100,000 right there.
Maybe, but I don't know. 5 million's a lot to spend.
It is
just bumming around the bay.
I mean, that kite couldn't have been cheap. That was at least 20 quid.
Yeah, that wasn't a Temu job, was it?
Do we think that Sonny's got an OnlyFans?
I don't know, but I can make it my mission to find it if you wish. It could explain why he's got money that he doesn't want to talk about where it comes from.
Yeah, it's his OnlyFans.
Let me write that down.
Maybe sits there and motivates people.
Well, consider me motivating hungry. Emma goes on to say, Bree and Remi just split them up. At the Salt gig, neither looked happy, but they went home and got it on. That says it all. Thanks for your Emma. Thanks for your email, Emma. We'll find out next week whether Bree and Remi make it. I'm hoping not.
I agree.
Jacob sent us an email. Hello, Jacob. And he says, so guys, what have we learnt this week after a chat with Sonny? Irene wants to travel. As exciting as this could be for her, is this actually wise? We've been talking about it for about an hour now, haven't we?
Yeah.
Is it wise? Who knows? She forgets what she's talking about mid-combo. Travelling alone isn't a great idea. This is a good point, because I've been saying, she can't trust herself to even work. Making a coffee seems to be too much for her. Can she make it to Paris?
Although, I've got to say, when she went and looked in the fridge and didn't know what she was doing, so many times, that's me. Do I need to be worried?
Me and you joked about this on the watch-along, didn't we? We were like,
I know. Should we be worried? I mean, at work, it happens a lot. Like, I know what I need to do, but I'm just staring.
I know. I changed the channel on the ad break and then forget where I was. Forget to go back. Maybe I should be selling my house and going around the world. That's what I'm hearing.
Let's do it. Let's all do it.
YOLO.
Yeah. You only live once.
Cohen's potential dad has arrived. He ain't leaving the Stewarts, so let's get this storyline wrapped up and send the guy packing, says Jacob. I'm not so sure, I think this could be a bit of a bigger spanner in the works than you think, Jacob.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's no infrastructure around Cohen, is there? what is his life going to be like if he stays? Will it just be him continuing to have scenes with Summer Bay House?
Yeah.
We're not going back to the school. Like, nobody maybe there are some listeners that want to go back to the school, but I don't want to go back to the school. Okay.
Yeah.
And unless the only thing I think they could do is to bring in a rolling roster of other foster kids to come in and sort of be that other element. So you could have someone who was slightly older, like a slightly older teenager, and then you kind of get the feeling that there's more going on than there actually is. And they could just be wearing their school uniforms, going off to school, coming back from school, cast a friend, that sort of thing.
Yeah. That would be the only way you could do it, really.
Yeah.
Without, like you say, going back in time and us all being like, ugh. The audience is older. I think that's a gimmick that people want. I don't think for the longevity of the show and to move things forward, I don't think that's a very good idea. I agree with you.
No.
Leave it where it was.
We've seen it before. Yeah. You know, although I would say if they ever did reopen the school, I think Sonny would make a great school counsellor.
You know what? Yeah. And he'd have the trust of everybody, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He'd have a killer cardigan.
Yeah, exactly. What more can you want?
Yeah, definitely. Well, you just have to get himself out of bed first. Sounds like a bit too much like work for Sonny, I must say. Okay, Bree and Remi, and she's put an eye roll. Sorry, Jacob's put an eye roll emoji. Well, this rolls on for yet another week. How long can it go on for? Similar to how you and I are feeling about things being stretched out, I think. He says Justin's memory is a little bit better this week as he remembers he actually owns a garage. And with his immense reputation, he has earned himself a contract with Summer Bay Cabs. At least they won't be late for their fares. Oh, wait. Theo's quit the garage, hasn't he?
I mean, how... Again, we talk about where do people get their money from? Where are the clients coming from to this garage that's never open and has one person in it working sporadically at the best of times?
Pristinely clean overalls.
Yeah. It's only ever working on the same car.
It's severely underutilized, that location, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it helps that Theo has just faded into the background.
Yeah.
Because he and Justin had quite an interesting relationship, I felt, as sort of step. Because he's not son, is he? He's
like adopted son, stepson.
Yeah, because he had such a shit dad.
Yeah.
You know, that it felt really nice, him and Justin, you know, under each other's wing and, you know, wingmen.
Yeah.
Where's that gone? We just said we've got Theo pissing about with Lacey all the time, which, like, as we mentioned on the main podcast, it ain't interesting and it ain't fun.
No, but I mean, he's another victim. So recently they've gotten rid of a lot of the Deadwood, haven't they?
Yeah.
Like, I liked a lot of those characters, but they weren't doing anything with them.
Yeah.
And I think there's more characters to go. And I wonder if Theo's going to be... Because another character they don't seem to know what to do with is Abs from 5. She came in really strong, like a hurricane.
Yeah.
But ever since they paired her up with Marley, it's just been that she's sort of followed him around like a dog. Even these storylines that she's getting now, we had a couple where she was talking about what's Eden going to wear to the wedding, but then the rest were, you know, the surf shop, problems with the surf shop, trying to explain to Mac about this, you know, all those secret conversations she was having.
Yeah.
But these are not her stories. These are Eden and Marley's stories.
Yeah.
You know?
You're right. And it's really evident when Marley's out of the show that Abs, there's nothing for her to do.
No.
Like, she does nothing. Yeah.
And it's so strange because we've got such a bunch of young people who she could be having fun with.
Yeah.
Like, Abs hanging out with Sunny and Dana, and even Theo and Lacey would be fun to see. Those 5.
Yeah.
But,
going for a night out or what have you.
Yeah.
And just socializing, and you're right. That's what's missing. That's the you know, the disconnect between these groups. Absy's very much in with her sibling group.
Yeah.
yeah, and then you've got, like you say, Tane. He's in with the old, the what's she called, Harper, the Cash, the Edens. They do a lot together because they live opposite each other. But that's
Yeah.
sort of, you're in your separate groups. No one's really connecting across at the moment, are they?
No.
And
And
like you say,
that's not a bad thing though, because like we were talking about Neighbours, the problem is in Neighbours, the whole street will go to one person's wedding, and you're like, you don't know all each other. You shouldn't
yeah,
know each other like
yeah,
this. You
yeah,
literally are just neighbours. Whereas in Home and Away, I do like the fact that people are kind of in different groups, but I
yeah,
do think with Abs, she's just like on her own,
yeah.
not
She's
mixed in
just
with the
out
younger
there.
ones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And over time, if she's here for a long while, that's going to be a problem.
Yes.
Quite.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
really is. Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
But you were going to say something and I interrupted you.
I know it was the same thing, I think. Yeah.
Great
I think we
minds.
were on the same. Yes, that's the one. That is the one. Thanks for your email, Jacob, and keep them coming. Right, I want to finish your say on the way with a couple of bits from Twitter because I asked, or our account asked out during the week and said Irene's final days were turning out to be quite full of conflict. All this sort of aggro with Irene and her friends. What's everyone's thoughts on this? And a couple of people came back to us. So Julie Smith, at Julie Smith 2001, says she doesn't like it. She's so angry all the time. All their concerns are valid, as in the friends' concerns. Anything could happen to her while she's gone. She could even forget where she's staying. It's a nice idea, but only if she had a travel companion. Plus, she's going to spend all her money and not have any for medical care. Honestly, I don't think a person with dementia should be going about this on their own. It's very frightening and confusing for them. I know they want a happy ending to a bad situation, but I don't think it's realistic.
Yeah. I mean, I do agree with that. I mean, wouldn't it be nice if she did go off with someone, like we said, if she went off with Dane and Sunny, or even
Yeah.
if she went off with Leah? Like if they went on like a little girls' holiday together.
Yeah. Yeah. Like they do IRL. I've seen them in Italy on Instagram.
Yeah, I
Their
mean,
Aperol spritz.
let's just follow them round,
That's it.
Let's turn it into a documentary.
Yeah, while we're at it, let's make a few bob and do a couple of meet and greets in Belgium.
Why not?
Yeah. Mr. David says they seem to be prioritising their own feelings and fears over Irene's. This is the friend group, I'm assuming, John and whatnot. Interesting. Katie Kent, I heard about this months ago, and my first thought was how ridiculous. My mum's Alzheimer's is in the early stages, but she won't even go on a plane, even with my dad, as she thinks she would get too confused by all the rules and procedures. That's interesting. There are some practicalities to travelling, aren't there?
Yeah, totally.
That could be quite frightening.
It does make you wonder if they have had if they've had a connection with like if there's an Alzheimer's Society in Australia. It makes you wonder if they've reached out to them. I'm sure they have, but like she said, she's got actual experience of that, and that's how her mum feels. So yeah.
And there is a bit of a connection. There is an Alzheimer's Society, so I know the answer to your question. And Jessica Redmayne, who plays Harper, is an ambassador because she recently lost her mum to it. And actually, Lynn McGranger has said in an interview that I watched that she asked Jessica about this storyline before she, because it was Lynn's idea.
Yeah.
And it was all about in homage to Jessica's mum. So knowing that, when that scene the other week when Irene tells Harper and Dana about her diagnosis, I was fixated on Harper and Jessica's reaction because there's a personability to it. It's going to be quite close to home for her. So there has been connections to.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And so tragic.
Yeah, Yeah, definitely. So, and when it aired, when Irene's exit aired in Oz, Jessica sort of did a big thing on Instagram. So we'll have to look it up when we get to that point, because I've not really, like I say, I've tried not to look at too much. And the last comment from Jamie says, I understand their concerns, and also I understand Irene's desire to travel before the Alzheimer's gets worse. I hope she doesn't end up going alone. Marilyn would be a great travel companion.
Yeah, Marilyn would be fantastic. Give Marilyn some stories.
I know, and she must have the money because she doesn't have any mortgage or anything. She has a full-time job. She's had all those extra shifts. I think we were talking, weren't we, earlier about Marilyn being sort of sidelined. Why on earth did Leah not ask Marilyn if she wanted to buy Irene's share? That's
good
annoyed
question.
me.
Yeah, good question. But no, Marilyn's she's just there.
Yeah, she could have had a nice stake in the diner, businesswoman, finally.
It would have been really nice, yeah.
Yeah.
But then I don't think a lot of characters don't take Marilyn seriously, do they?
No, that's true.
You know. And what is Leah and Marilyn's relationship, really?
Well, other than work colleagues, you don't really see them do. They're supposed to be part of this diner ladies group, aren't they? You know, they do a lot together. But yeah, you're right. It's definitely, I don't know. It just seems a bit of a missed trick, really, to help develop Marilyn a bit more. You know.
Yeah.
Excuse me. One of the most iconic characters on the show, might I add.
Yeah, I mean, I love her.
Yeah, owning the diner or shared the diner just makes sense to me. Maybe it'll come in another way. I don't know.
Maybe she'll get a romance.
Got her eye on Sarge David. David.
I'm not feeling that though, because I feel like Rue will be kind of, oh no, he's mine. He should really be with me. I get on better with him.
I know, but as long as Marilyn comes out on top, I don't care, because I'm fed up of Rue treating Marilyn like something she's stepped in.
I'm so sick of it. Like, justice for Marilyn. I'll get the t-shirts made.
Perfect. Get those little ions going. Those iron-ons. Thanks for your comments, everybody. As always, it's great to hear them. Keep them coming in. #Home and Away. We're on all the social medias at Coastal News Pod, and that email, and keep them coming, because you never know, you might get your say on the bay. See you next week. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Please take the time to like, subscribe, and review Coastal News wherever you source your podcasts, and ensure you never miss an episode.